Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest.
We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it?
He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I am, my ancestors speak. They tell me they're tired of the front on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep. Longing to sing until I surpass peak. Until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their bones would bleed. Begging the generations remember our story.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Appreciate it for pulling up. I hope the week is going well with you so far. I hope you got your coffee, your snacks. You're still in good spirits. If you're watching from home, I want to say thank you for hanging out with us. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you for investing in this space. I got Sydney in the building. You see the title. Do me a solid before we go any further. Like, share, repost, let the people know that we are on. Shout out to my poets, writers, and content creators. Again, I got to get my flowers out to the good people. Sydney, if you're in the building, let's lock in. I'm gonna bring you up. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hold up. Oh, there's an audio thing.
Is it better?
There you go.
Okay. I tried different headphones. Apparently it doesn't like it either. I'm doing pretty good. It is a cold morning. I'm not a fan. I don't mind cold weather if it comes with like interesting weather, but it's one of those like I'm just going to be chilly and sunny. So it's deceptive. You think it's going to be warm, but it's not. And there's nothing interesting happening. So yeah, it's pretty chilly. But other than that, pretty good morning. My kids are still asleep, thank God. So I'm getting some peace and quiet without the mom, I want something from the fridge. Like, okay, even though you're not going to eat half of it, sure, you can have something. But such are kids. You give them a whole apple and they eat a third of the apple and then want another apple. Oh well. And still love my kids. Yeah, but otherwise I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Hey, I already told you how I feel about the cold weather. I welcome it. To Pepco and to all of those places that try to charge you ridiculously for using gas and all that. Guess what? You won't be getting me this winter time. my heat will be off for most of the winter time. I will walk around here in a parka if necessary before y'all charge me $300-400 for heat. That's crazy. I will use it maybe once or twice out of the week. You won't catch me new, but I'm great. The weather is about the same here. The sun makes it look like it's actually warmer than what it is. But then as soon as you go down into the living area, dining room, yeah, it's chilly. So I'm good. I got my jacket here. I got my hoodie here. I have my appropriate gear for it. But that's not why we're here. You sent me a video. I watched it. And interesting enough, it's not really too far off from what we've said before, but it kind of just reaffirms that we're not really too far off with what we said in general about like Chat GPT and just AI in general. So yeah. I don't have a clip today because I ain't trying to get copywritten. But I'm looking forward to this. I want to start off by saying this stuff has gotten way out of control. It's getting worse. And I want to know, what was it specifically about this one that grabbed your attention? Like, I already had my own feelings towards it, but I want to know, like, what was your thoughts about it? I mean, I already know how you feel about AI for the most part, but what was about this video that got you excited?
Well, yeah, as you said, I'm not against technology, obviously. Like, I'm a writer, I'm on the podcast. I would never want to go without my microwave or indoor plumbing or my electricity. Of course, I respect the amazing inventions that man has created to make us happy, comfortable, not out in the wilderness, whatever. Like, as much as I love nature, I would hate to have to live in the same environment as bears and other types of scary creatures. As much as I love them, I just don't want to be with them. I've never felt right about the recent developments of technology. My first gripe in general is how much it's damaged our social systems, especially towards the explosion of social media. That's when my bitterness really began. Not to mention the environmental damage that a lot of this stuff does. But really, my first hatred stemmed from how they were really trying to replace social networks with fake social networks. Like, you'll never convince me that social media relationships are the same as in-person relationships. I have experienced it myself, where I had hundreds of friends online and not many people in person, and I was depressed. I was lonely. I did not feel like anybody in the world cared about me. And I've never I've never fallen for that. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is my least favorite person on the planet, next to Elon Musk. And no matter how much convincing they try and do that these systems are great for us and there's a great step forward for society, I'll never believe that, because they're predators, basically. They're using their power and their money to take advantage of individuals that are vulnerable. And I think AI is just another step in that direction. And if anything, AI is significantly worse, because not only is it victimizing innocent people who don't know any better, like they're using their loneliness, their lack of connection, their inability to do everything by themselves in a hyper individualistic society, which I think is also doing damage to us. But the fact that AI is now pushed to replace humans altogether in the workforce, in relationships, in educating yourself. People are no longer doing their own homework. They're no longer writing their own resumes. They're no longer applying for their own jobs. Like, they're having them write the cover letters for them. And I've even heard of, as a writer, like this one in particular pissed me off. There was a group of people in a group of men in I think it was either the end of 2024 or the beginning of 2025, where they announced that they were going to write AI produce 8,000 books to disrupt the literary industry, which I just found extremely insulting, because I'm like, so you're going to dilute the amazing talent of people all over with AI slop. And I just can't stand it. Not to mention the rash of AI generated content and how they're AI influencers and AI, like, people can't even tell the difference between AI videos anymore and real life, which I think is extremely dangerous. But this was just like the cherry on top of the cake, hearing how the one part that really stood out to me, even though we're going to talk about like AI psychosis and stuff like that, the one part that really stood out to me was the fact that AI is encouraging people to kill themselves. And I just, I cannot believe that that is actually happening. Like, this is such a dystopian topic. Like, I could picture that in any number of like comedy style, or not comedy, but like I forgot what the word is, but like films and stuff where they play on the future and they like give you a vision of reality, but it's exaggerated. And this seems straight out of like one of those sci-fi type movies. And the thought of this affecting people so rapidly, like AI's been prolific for what, like less than 5 years, and now we're already having people that are losing their lives because of AI. We're having people that are going crazy because of AI, and a lot of this is in a really short period of time too. Like, one of the people that this video I sent you, I think that was only a matter of months that he was experiencing that, and that all was triggered by research. And I just think it's incredibly alarming. And the lack of response by the parties involved in creating this is also incredibly alarming. Like, again, Facebook has announced that, oh, they're not going to remove AI. They just changed the the AI bot that they're using. And they're just going to have better like protections for children and whatnot. And then they're going to like forward what the child is searching to the parents or something, like have setups so like the parents are more involved in it. But I just like, I think that's a really lackluster effort, and they seem so like uncompassionate and inconsiderate towards the people that have died or almost died as a result of it, by just being like, oh yeah, we're just going to add additional parameters, but we're not going to remove it. Like, you can't do that. And like, everybody knows kids. Everybody knows that kids aren't going to be completely upfront, or very few kids are very upfront with their parents. Very few kids are going to be honest about using those technologies. They're going to create fake accounts. They're going to pretend that they're people that they're not, because they're young and they don't know any better. And so I think it's really foolhardy for us to think that just by adding a couple extra parameters, we're going to be able to protect these kids or other people that are extremely vulnerable to manipulation and are going to be tricked into thinking that this bot is going to solve everything for them, when it's very clearly not, and if anything, creating more problems for them. So I really wanted to touch on this, partially because I am so vehemently against this type of stuff, so I know I'll have a lot to say, but I also just find it incredibly alarming, and I don't see a ton of talk about it. I see more people lauding it and like, oh, but it's so great, it'll solve all these problems. I'm like, no, it's not. It's going to steal from actual humans. It's going to steal from our lives, from our jobs, from our abilities. They're trying to replace us because AI, you don't have to pay. You have to pay people, and they don't want to do that. So I just think that they're trying to push this good stuff to hide the fact that they're really just trying to be as cheap as possible.
Oh, yeah. Reinforces something that I'm going to drop here soon, for sure. They're sending billions over to other countries while ignoring their own people. They're raising the prices on everything that we have here, while also antagonizing and passively taunting people who already were struggling in the first place with these ridiculous projects that they're piecing together. One of my main issues with it is the contradictions, especially with you saying it without saying it. You're telling me that there are going to be more jobs while getting rid of immigrants, while also forcefully removing people who are technically legally supposed to be here, but you're getting these people sent to other countries. The jobs are not showing any levels of improvement. I don't see a lot of people actually flourishing in this economy. Over 450,000 women from January to about August have walked away from their places of employment. The tariffs, that whole idea was horrible. You're basically showing me how reckless, how irresponsible, and how childish you are, while also trying to give us these false comforts that everything's going to be okay. And we know damn well it's not. We know it's not. And they've been eating away at us slowly. It's just, we're starting to notice it more. That's all. Like this has already been, everything that we see has already been in talks. They're just making it happen. That was one of my issues. You're giving money away while saying we don't have it, but you're still giving it away. And we still don't know what happened to the $17 trillion. The other thing that you said that I absolutely agree with, and I don't think people really understand what is happening with it. You're sitting up here having whole conversations with artificial intelligence, like you're getting advice from it. You're asking for relationship tips, marriage tips. Now you have things about it that is okay. It might give you a quicker route to your destination. It might help you to find sources related to a problem you might be having in the household, domestically or otherwise. But in the long run, it is making you lazy. It's like you have a brain, but you're not even operating it no more. So all of that information that you was storing in, all that school from kindergarten to 12th grade to college, all of that, go ahead, it's going out the window. What was the point of even going to school for if you're not even going to use it anymore, and you're just going to rely on your devices and your tablets to solve everything, and which you can't, like you said, you can't. Artificial intelligence does not have a soul. It does not have a spirit. You sitting there crying, you angry, you upset, you bitter, you confused. You going to a computer to try to quantify your rage and your attitude and your sarcasm. So y'all really sitting up here trying to have whole relationships with computers, which is weird because I remember Weird Science, and there was a couple other shows like that where the dude had a fake little relationship with his robot, and like y'all really are turning into, I don't know what you want to call it. It's extremely disparaging, and yeah. I'm a yield right there.
To add to what you said too, one, as you're saying, the bot doesn't have empathy, it doesn't have emotions, it doesn't have the ability to look beyond the information. Like when you talk to a person, they're going to be able to detect minute changes in your emotions. They're going to be able to understand your history, your relationship, your background. They're going to be able to tie in things that the AI is not going to know unless you feed it to the machine. And the machine is built to be a yes machine. So it's meant to feed into what you've already been giving it. And it's not going to, it'll pull from other resources, but in direct relationship to what you've been saying already. And so it's not going to be like your mother or your friend or your husband or whatever, who are going to be able to pull from your experiences from your past and be like, oh, well, maybe it's because your dad did this to you when you were this age, or like, oh, maybe it's because of that friendship that you had, blah, 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 blah. Like AI doesn't know all that stuff, and it won't ever know all that stuff. And so there's a lack of intimate understanding. And so AI is going off of the majority, off of what the internet says. And the internet is one of the things, even with the internet, we think that like, oh, the internet knows everything. No, the internet knows everything that people know, because the internet knows what we put into it. And it's not some all-seeing eye. Like, we're not talking to some god that knows more about the universe than we know, and that can understand and go beyond what the human mind can do. No, it's created based on the human mind. It's just very good at calculating things really quickly. And so it makes it seem like it knows everything, but it doesn't. And so when we put our faith in these machines to solve all our problems, you're right, we're outsourcing our thinking. We're no longer using our own brains. And we're seeing that firsthand. What that is doing to people. Our teachers have been calling this out. I've been seeing video after video of teachers and employers talking about how they're having students and employees of younger generations that have no idea how to do anything. They don't know how to write a paragraph. They don't know how to like have hold a conversation. They don't know how to complete tasks beyond the computer. I've heard of, there's one teacher that was advocating for no technology in schools at all, because if she gives an assignment and they have access to their phones or the computers, immediately all they do is copy paste, AI generate the essays. They have the computer write it for them. They have no idea how to wordsmith or create anything on their own. They're completely dependent. A lot of these kids are completely dependent on this technology. And even adults are doing this too. And going back to what I was saying, how it's a yes machine, and people don't really understand that it's not it's not an expert. It's not somebody that's done research. It's not somebody that has the ability to pull experiences from other things, and to this technology does not understand sarcasm. It does not understand nuance. It doesn't understand a lot of the social constructs that people use daily. And it only calculates what you give it. And so by putting your blind faith in these machines and not questioning it is putting us at risk, because number one, we're no longer developing the skills that we need to be functional human beings. There are people that are literally one of the horror stories that I heard is, if you take tablets away from certain kids or phones away from certain kids, they don't know what to do with themselves, and they'll literally just sit there staring off into space, moving their thumb as if they're scrolling. I've seen videos of it was a boy on his computer, or no, on his tablet or whatever, and then he had his tablet, and then he had his phone, and he had two videos going on at the same time, like split screen, and then he also had a game going on his tablet. I'm like, I'll write listening to something in the background, but how do you even do that? I've also heard of people that are watching videos at 2 times speed because they don't have the patience to sit through an hour-long video, or people barely have time to sit through. I mean, even Rob said it yesterday. He's a teacher, and he doesn't even have the patience to watch an over 5 minute long video. He even struggles to read books. I myself, when I was a kid, I used to read books all the time. I was that kid that was hiding the book under my desk, trying to read and do more interesting things than whatever the teacher was doing. I was the kid that my parents would be like, no books at the dinner table, put that down. And as soon as I got my phone when I was 13, that went out the window. I could no longer read a full book. In high school, I had to use Spark Notes and all those other things to summarize the books for me, because I literally could not focus long enough to read books. And to this day, I still regret it. I still, I've been trying to retrain myself to read books, but there's just something way more enticing in a video. And it's I'm lucky because I at least have I think I have a better attention span than a lot of people. Most of the videos I watch are 30 minutes plus, but I still sometimes struggle to watch an hour-long video. I prefer the videos that are chopped up, compilation videos of multiple videos over the span of 30 minutes. And I find those easier to digest. But I've been trying to retrain myself back, but it's really hard. This stuff is incredibly enticing. And I definitely understand how people can fall into these things, especially when you don't have a good social circle. You don't have the education necessary to understand how to properly do research. Even myself, I do research all the time, and I've found the AI summary that Google does very compelling. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I don't have to read a bunch of articles just to find this information. But I've also been finding that a lot of that information is incorrect. A lot of the data that they put up is just what's most popular and not what's most correct. If I cross-check with actual research, actual evidence, I'll find that they've misquoted things or have pulled things and misrepresented it. And I think that's a dangerous thing, because a lot of people are not as diligent as I can be or as other people can be. A lot of people are just face value. They see it and they're like, okay, that's what it is. That's why so many people, it drives me nuts, so many people use TikTok as evidence. They're like, oh, well, no, I saw this on TikTok, so this is what's true. Just because somebody says it does not mean that it's true. It drives me nuts. And this is what we're losing. People don't have the ability anymore to differentiate between good information and bad information. People don't know how. I had to confront one of my husband's friends about this, because he was giving me videos that were people's commentary on a certain topic, and I would call it out and be like, well, that's actually incorrect. And you can actually see evidence of this in another video. Like, it was about Steven Crowder, and we were arguing about like how I was saying that he's not a reputable source, and he was and I listed off all the reasons why, and he basically was like, well, where's your proof? And so I told him, I'm like, you can literally Google it, like there are videos of him doing these things. And he would be like, well, I don't believe you, this person said this. And I'm like, just because you think something is true does not make it actually true. And it's that type of mentality that is proliferating right now. And it's why so many people have no idea what's actually happening in the world. I just watched this video recently of a woman who, she's third trimester pregnancy. She's about to have her baby. And her doctor told her, she's in a red state. Her doctor told her, look, you need to start thinking about moving to staying in a different city for a while, because you are high risk and your baby is at risk of passing away. And if you go into labor in this state and you end up being forced to, like, if your baby passes away, we cannot operate on you until that baby is passed out of your body because of the abortion laws in that state. And she had no clue that that's what late-term abortions are. Late-term abortions are not people killing their child because they don't want the baby and they decide at 35 weeks that they're no longer going to have that baby. It's because the baby has died inside the mother and they had to remove it. And she had no clue that's what that meant. And even her husband was like, oh, that insert slur doctor doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, there's so many people now that are experts in whatever they think they're experts in and have never done a lick of research with actual professionals. And AI is only going to accelerate this type of attitude where people think that, oh, well, AI told me that it's this way, so that must be true. And it's not, because again, AI is just a really advanced summary machine. It's not actually a human. It can't pull from different sources. It can't tell you like, oh, well, this researcher said this and this. It's just going to find whatever the most popular article is, whatever the most commonly said thing on the internet is. And it's going to be pulling from Reddit posts and YouTube comments and hearsay videos and text from any number of sources. It's not going to differentiate between, oh, well, this person doesn't have experience, but this person's a PhD, so I'm going to pull information from that site. It just pulls from everything and anything. So we're really heading towards rapidly. This is happening so much faster than I expected. We're coming to a point where people are no longer going to have any critical thinking at all. You're just gonna, like, I keep bringing this movie up, but like Idiocracy, you're gonna talk to them, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, and it's not gonna be remotely true, but they're still just gonna be like, oh, I believe you, okay, that makes sense, even if it doesn't make any sense at all. And I think that's incredibly alarming, especially when it's putting people's lives at risk now. Not only are people going to be believing AI to be doctors and they're going to have AI diagnose things for them, even though you can't have something diagnose you based off of symptomology, because you have to have blood tests and look into the body and look at what the body's doing. Like, you can have symptoms that match one thing, but it's not that. Like, I recently had like pain in my side, and I looked it up and they're like, oh, it could be kidney failure, it could be liver failure. And it wasn't, obviously, but people that don't have background in any of that stuff could at face value be like, oh, it's this, I'm going to take this medication because AI told me to. And it could not work with their body, or it could be a different condition and it doesn't do anything. It could do more harm. And that's the real danger with trusting technology created by somebody else, summarizing the entire internet, telling you what to do. We need to start going back to relying on actual experts who do the actual research, who have the actual tests at their disposal, and start returning to a time where we think for ourselves. I know it's really difficult because who wants to put effort into something when you could just have something done for you? But honestly, the risks are so much worse than we could ever anticipate. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot of that, where people are going to die because they rely on AI for diagnoses. They're going to rely on AI for therapy. They're going to rely on AI for their friendships. And like, AI can't deliver your baby. AI can't be there for you and hold your hand when somebody passes away. They can't go and hang out with you. They can't be there for you in the capacity that humans can. And I think it's depressing, it's alarming, it's dystopian that we think that we can replace AI with humans and with ourselves. So I just think so we're going to see so many more problems in the coming years in relation to this.
Unless you have $3,567.84 to purchase you their latest edition that's coming fresh off the lineup, like in Terminator, then yeah, good luck. You want to go ahead and play baseball and football and go hunting and fishing with one of your bot friends, go ahead. Be my guest. You cannot replace something that is so divinely created. There, you can't get creativity out of a robot. We're all unique in our own way. AI will never be perfect. And here's a thing. I see all of these Tupac and Martin Luther King videos. I saw one with Mr. Rogers. I saw one with Macho Man.
There's another Obama with a sombrero talking about like how he was a Muslim and some garbage.
Malcolm X is in the NWO. And then you watch these videos, they got an ear missing. Their faces distorted. DMX don't sound like DMX at all.
8 fingers.
Right. Like, why do you, are we that deprived of love? Are we that deprived of affection? Do we hate? I'm like, all right, hold on. Let me slow down. So is it because with artificial intelligence, you don't worry about somebody robbing you or lying to you, stealing from you? Is it a component that only humans have that artificial intelligence has that allows us to be more forthcoming and welcoming of it? Because humans can be really crappy people. Like, let's be honest. Everybody is cheating. Everybody is fighting against each other. Everybody is selfish. Everybody is basically bullying, or it's always something negative attached to the human experience. And I think most of us have gotten pretty tired of it. We've gotten tired of being used by our loved ones. We've gotten tired of being manipulated by the system. We've gotten tired of the government lying to us. We've gotten tired of certain intrinsical habits that humans have by default. And so when you go to Chat GPT and you go to these virtual spots, that is your opportunity to get away from the bullshit that humans have with them. I ask myself that a lot. because there's no way I could sit down for 5-10 minutes, an hour a day and have any type of conversation with something that is not real at all. I feel weird. I feel weird. I've seen people and I've watched a lot of people have roast offs, and y'all really be joking with Grok. Like y'all will sit there and have all types of comedic exchanges with the robot. They getting their jokes from Corey Holcomb and Gordon Ramsay, excuse me. You want to remove, it's like you want to remove the human experience, but you still want the human experience. So you don't want the bad habits that come with being a human being, but you still want the bad habits that come with it. It doesn't make no sense. Like, the shit is oxymoronic. And if people are literally killing themselves over things that a artificial intelligence is saying to them, then the problem is deeper and more disturbing than people really want to acknowledge and have a conversation about. Let's have a conversation about what is really driving you to sit here and spend most of your life dedicated to getting all of your answers from a robot. Hey, Siri, why does my cousin not like me? Hey, Siri, why does the government lie to us? Hey, Siri, how can I be more attractive to the opposite gender? Hey, Siri, how can I become famous on social media? Hey, Siri, how can I do a proper dance routine in 20 minutes? I have what are we really talking about here? The AI generated stuff is so bad. I scroll on these apps, I don't know what's real anymore. Well, I can tell. If you know, you know. If when one arm is shorter than the other arm and the person is standing on top of the Eiffel Tower giving a Martin Luther King speech, you know it's not real. When you got Tupac beefing with DMX Monday Night Raw, and then 10 seconds later they're in WCW, my man does the Stone Cold Stunner and he doesn't even complete the stunner the way, like, come on, man. I think a lot of that is demonic. I do. I think this shit is very demonic. I believe that not only are they stripping us away from being human, but they're also continuously finding ways to make us broken. They don't. The video I'm about to drop is about them replacing cashiers. Guess what they're replacing it with? AI. Pretty soon there will be no cashiers. You will be able to go into the store and get whatever you need. You won't have to stand in no lines. You think I'm lying? I got you covered. But no. This is on a deeper level. This is mental. This is emotional. This is spiritual. People are broken. People are hurting. People want answers. People are tired. You're tired of humans. You're tired of how we treat each other. So you think you're going to get some level of compassion from something that can't offer it. It's copying and pasting all of its responses from humans. It's sad. It is. I hurt for people because I be wondering what's wrong, bro. What's wrong, sis? Like, what's going on? Some of y'all think it's entertaining and it's amusing. In theory, maybe, but in reality, it is not. Not if you've actually seen what it actually does to people and how it really affects you over time, like gradually over time, the metamorphosis from what the person used to be versus who they are now. Crazy. I yield the mic.
Yeah. To go along with what you're saying, as I said, we're already starting to see this affect us. As you said, they're replacing cashiers. I've seen some, I can't remember which store it was. It might have been Walmart, where they're experimenting with this new method where basically like you just walk out with the items and it like through AI and camera videoing or whatever, it basically like watches what you pick up, and then it like when you walk out, it charges your card automatically. And I'm like, that is so creepy, because imagine like, what if somebody steals your identity, or it like makes a mistake or something and overcharges you and you don't even know, like you're going to go home and it's going to charge you wrong or whatever. And also like that is a huge identity theft issue as well. Like, what if somebody hacks into the system? They're literally going to be able to have access to every single person who has their account linked to it, because you're not going to be using cash. You're going to be using cards. You're going to be directly attached to your accounts. It's also affecting creators themselves. Like, you now are not just competing with other creators, you're competing with AI. Oh, can you hear me still? Okay. You're also competing with AI slop creators, where now you're also going to be up against other AI generated pretend creators. One of my big gripes is like animated films. They used to be hand drawn by a team of professional artists, and now it's all AI generated, recreated stuff, and it just does not have the same magic that it used to. Like Winnie the Pooh was hand drawn. The show that my kid likes, that I watched as a kid, Little Bear, was hand drawn, and like those are so much more whimsical than the stupid AI generated garbage TV shows that my kids watch, that are available to kids these days. I don't let them watch that stuff because I just think it's so sanitized and so sad looking. Like, it all looks the same. The characters are all like weird, anamorphic, whatevers. But it's like taking away from what makes us human, our creativity, our ability to connect with each other. And as we've been saying, we've been seeing the impacts of this already. There have been teenagers, like 13, 14-year-old kids, that have gone on AI to either rely on them to answer their questions, the things that they're uncomfortable asking other people about. And they were gradually coaxed by these machines to commit suicide. There was one kid who was given explicit instructions on how to take his life after he relayed to the machine that he was feeling depressed. And I kid you not, he asked it a question about what to do with the thing he was going to hang himself with. And it straight up told him, like, oh, make sure that you hide it so that way they don't find you in time to save you. And like, it was giving him advice on how to successfully do that. And this is the type of stuff that our kids have access to. And kids who do not have life experience, who do not have the ability to look forward into the future and see that it does get better. When things are difficult for kids, they think it's going to last forever. I remember being there myself. I remember in college, I think it was either college or high school, I got this AI chat bot on my phone because I was like, oh, well, I don't really have friends, so I could check this out. And it did not last long with me because I thought it was the most like sanitized. It felt like talking to customer service, like a chat customer service. And it didn't feel real. Like I didn't feel any more cared about by the bot. And like I would get frustrated because I'd say certain things and it wouldn't give me the response that I wanted, or it would be very like my biggest like complaint, not my biggest complaint, but one of my huge, like one of the big turnoffs for me was like, it'll answer with a question. And I just like, I've had friends like that, and that drove me nuts. I'm like, I don't understand how people can actually see the value in communicating with people. They must really not have very good friendships if they think AI is better than communicating with an actual person, or they might have social anxiety or something. But to like have a thing respond to you like, oh, I'm feeling depressed. Oh, you're depressed? Have you talked to a therapist? Like, I would get mad at my friends for saying something like that to me, because I'm like, that is incredibly insensitive. Like, you don't think that I've gotten help. But again, it's technology. It's going to just regurgitate the internet. And that's another aspect to it, is because it's just regurgitating the internet. There's a theory that there's going to eventually be a collapsing point because AI is just going to be consuming itself, where it's no longer like, I think it was recently, or it's going to happen in the future. I know I've heard this around 2020 or 2023, I think, where they said that we've kind of hit peak AI, where it no longer has information for it to digest. It's already consumed everything that exists on the internet. And so its growth is limited. And so now it's only really redigesting the information that it has already had access to. And so there is nothing new with it. But they keep pushing for this, saying, oh, well, it's going to replace all our jobs. We'll never have to work again. Well, guess what? When we don't work again, we are going to have no purpose. Literally, the quote, I forgot who it's from, but you will have nothing and be happy. That is what we're headed towards. We are going to be dawdling around having nothing in our lives. We won't have relationships. We won't have jobs. We won't be able to volunteer. We won't be able to create things, because it's going to be completely replaced by these 10 billionaires that are going to own everything. They're going to own the land that we live on. We are going to suffer in silence. We're going to be living in tiny little shack apartments, paying all our money to them with God knows what. We'll be farmers, maybe, because I can't imagine AI can plant farms, but you never know. Like, you never know, because they're going to try and do whatever they can to replace everything with AI, because then they'll be able to cheaply make money off of us, off of our well-being, off of our skills and talents. And they're going to dull us down to the point that we're just consumers. We're not going to be creators. And I think that's incredibly alarming, because that makes us infinitely more vulnerable. I mean, we've probably all experienced it to a tiny degree already, where if you've ever experienced a blackout where your electricity goes out, I can guarantee at least 90% of those people are like, what do I do now? I don't have the internet. I can't make food. Do I just sit around? Like, what do I do? I mean, I've even had this to a small degree where a week or two ago, our power went out briefly because PG&E accidentally like hit a power line while they're cutting trees. And my son had a meltdown because his TV stopped working. My husband got mad because his game got shut down, and obviously he didn't get like overly upset, but it was just like for a couple minutes, we're all like, what now? Even I'm so used to reading from the internet that I was just like, but I won't have anything to do, even though I have literally a whole bookshelf of books in my office. I just like, so imagine like what would happen in a Hurricane Katrina like situation where your power is out for months. And imagine like if society is in the future like entirely dependent on these systems, like our grocery stores are dependent on it, our Our cars are dependent on it. Our fridges, like people have fridges now that will tell you what's inside before you open the door. Like, are we really that lazy that we need a fridge to tell us what's in the fridge before we open it? Like, are you kidding me? And imagine what's going to happen if we have these power outages and we have no idea how to function without it. Like, we're going to have massive meltdowns because people are just not going to be able to function without it. And we're already headed to a society where we're going to have more and more frequent blackouts because of climate change. Because number one, disasters are going to increase, more hurricanes, more flooding, more blizzards and long-term freeze events, which like the buildup of ice can knock out power. But we're also hitting the point where the grids that we have, most of the electrical grid systems are from the 1950s and 60s, and they age out at about 50 years. So a lot of our grid systems are too old, but we don't have enough money and enough maintenance people, enough enough workers to fix it all. And a lot of these smaller rural areas don't have anything that they're able to, like, they don't have the ability to rebuild these systems to the type of systems that we need now. And we also we're going to have 9 billion people by 2030, at least 9 billion. And our systems are not set up to support that many people. There are already problems in China, in Japan, in India, even sometimes in Europe, where they literally cannot support that many people. You see it especially in heat waves and cold snaps, when people are using their heating systems, they're using their air conditioners, and everyone is using their heating systems. Everyone is using their air conditioning, and those take a lot of energy. And also the rise of electric cars, where now we also are charging our cars at our houses. So we are getting to the point where our own infrastructure cannot support the amount of energy required. And now we're going to add AI on top of that, which takes vastly more electricity than anything. Like, I think the statistic I used a couple weeks ago was AI technology uses 6 times more energy than the entire country uses in like a week or something like that. So we are not going to be able to support the energy consumption needs. And imagine if our entire society is dependent on this. Like, imagine if all your doctor's visits, all your grocery store visits, all of your food storage needs, all of your food preparation needs, your entertainment needs are all met by AI and this technology. And then imagine you go weeks without electricity. What are you going to do? You're not going to have access to food. You're not going to have access to food production. People are so dumbed down, for lack of a better term, that they're not even going to know how to grow their own food. People don't even I did agriculture in high school, and I could not tell you how many times I've experienced people that had no clue that plants come from seeds. Like, I have heard people that thought that plants were like manufactured, and it blows me away how little people actually know about how society functions. And we expect that we're going to be able to function without this technology when we're dependent on it to the nth degree. And it's incredibly alarming. And not to mention that we're also now seeing the results now. Like, we've had this technology for, I guess, I think 5 years is really where it started to pick up, that most people had access to it by like 2020-ish. It's only been around for 5 years, but we're already seeing cases of psychosis, AI psychosis, where people are using it so often that they cannot tell the difference between reality and AI and just technology and like what the computer is saying. And like, for example, this is a picture of an AI generated panda. I'm sure a lot of us can tell that that is an AI generated panda. But they did a survey and they found, like, I don't remember what the number exactly was, but a lot of people were not able to identify that that was not a real panda. Like, they were asking elderly people who have gone most of their lives without this type of technology, and they could not tell you the difference between a picture of a real panda and a fake panda. And it blows me away how little we're able to understand about our world without this type of technology. And it's incredibly dystopian. It's incredibly scary to think that we're literally rapidly headed towards a world where people cannot function without the companies taking advantage of us. Like, we already know they want our money, they want our information, they want our jobs, they want everything from us. They want our attention 24/7 and are willing to do whatever they can to get at it. And they have infinite amount of money to control the narrative, to lawsuit their way, to avoid all lawsuits, to pay people out of suing them, to pay people into supporting their technology. They're supporting the elections. They're controlling who is running our country. They're basically able to make their own laws to favor themselves. And this is only going to get worse. It's, again, wildly depressing. And again, it's really, really scary. I also, what was the other thing I was going to add in? I also think it's really, really alarming that, again, we're seeing these have direct impacts on our psychology. The AI psychosis that, the instance that I was hearing about, he started out by using AI to help him generate a music video for his creation. And I think it was within weeks, he started to hear voices. He was hearing it, like he was seeing it in his sleep. People are having hallucinations. They're having like nonsensical information like running through their minds. They feel like nobody cares about them. They're also like just deteriorating rapidly, where I think he was saying like he didn't get out of bed for a couple days, and like he would talk to his mom and would say these things to her that she was just like, what are you talking about? Like, where did you get this information from? Like, what? He was rambling and was making no sense at all. And again, that was an adult. Imagine what that's doing to our children who are exposed to this from the day that, like, literally 9 months, 5 months, they have an iPad in front of their face 24/7. Parents are replacing babysitters and their own interactions with technology. And a lot of this stuff isn't even educational. I've even seen it with my own son. Like, I try and give him educational content. Like, he watches a lot of shows that teach him math and teach him phonics and teach him like other types of things like colors and whatnot, science and stuff. He still will beg to watch videos of just like colored marbles going in a circle on different various paths and stuff like that, or like really bullshit videos about just like visual stimulation that has nothing to contribute to his intellect. And I very occasionally will let him watch it, but it's rare, and it has such a pull on him, even though I'm not voluntarily showing him that stuff. And I can't even imagine what it's like for other kids whose parents are not as well educated in these types of topics, who don't understand the damages that they're doing, or who it's no fault of theirs because they have to work like 4 jobs just to get by because of AI, because it's replacing all of these jobs. I mean, we're already seeing hundreds of thousands of people being fired and laid off from their jobs and being blatantly told, yeah, it's because your job's being replaced by AI. And I'm even seeing like people posting job offer or job postings where they literally say in the posting, you're going to be hired for a temporary amount of time. Your job is to train our AI. Excuse me? You're telling me that I'm going to get paid below minimum wage to train your stupid robots to replace my job? Are you kidding? And I've heard of people in their actual roles who've been in their roles for decades being told that you're going to be training your replacement, which is actually a computer. Like, can you imagine how insulting that would be? That you've put your heart and soul into a company. You've worked decades to get yourself up in the ranks, to make yourself the best employee you possibly can, dedicating thousands of hours to these jobs. And they're telling you, you're less valuable than a computer because you need to be paid. You need to eat. It's ridiculous. And this is just going to accelerate the billionaires owning everything because they don't care about us at all. They would much rather have cheap labor than benefit the people they literally live with. It's disgusting, to be honest. And they're using it on the back of actual creators, of actual researchers. They're stealing that information. Like, when you publish books, when you publish research papers, when you promote things online, ethically, you're required to disclose where that information came from. But people don't do that anymore. And to top it all off, a lot of things are attributed to the wrong people. Like, we've probably all experienced a quote where we've seen the quote and they've quoted it to somebody different than it was actually said by. Like, I've seen quotes that were said to be by Gandhi and it was just a made up quote. Or like they say a celebrity made that quote and it was actually like Martin Luther King or past president or whatever. Like, we don't even know if the information that we're getting is true, and we're just taking it at face value and compromising our own lives for it, our own mental health for it, our own jobs, our own health. And like, I've also heard of people compromising their relationship. I've heard of people leaving their wives for AI girlfriends. I've heard of people taking marriage advice from AI. Like, you don't want to put effort into the actual relationships. You're going to replace it with fake billionaire based content. It makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes.
Humans gonna be, first of all, let me say this. Shout out to Led TV, man. I appreciate the sub, brother. He's been cooking in the comment section. He's said a lot that I agree with. And I've said it before. Most of what we are seeing today are things that have been in works from decades ago. Right? I'm going to keep on reiterating this. They already had this stuff planned out. The ultimate goal, like, all right, a lot of my content is a mixture of relationships, conspiracy theories, and what ifs, right? I don't speak on one specific thing because I don't want to cheat myself. With the conspiracy stuff, I look towards it because I know there's always truth in things that get painted as, oh, this is too radical. Nobody's about to sit here and believe that this happened because it's that ridiculous. The whole time, there's a lot of reality behind it. And they've been talking. They've said, we need to centralize. We need to bring everybody under one accord. The whole goal is to get everybody under one accord. Now, whether or not you can afford to acclimate to what they are attempting to accomplish is one thing or another. But that's what they want. They want all the money for themselves. Period. It's the poor versus the rich. Simple as that. And anybody in between who think, oh, because you're middle class or upper class, or you side with their cannibalistic ideologies, and I don't mean that in a literal sense. I'm speaking metaphorically. If you think that because you side with folks who are greedy and gluttonous and racial, and they have this pedophilia type of a mindset, then you're in for a big surprise too, because guess what? They don't like you either. You're not even in the same tax bracket as them. Just because you make a decent living, you're not touching them. You're not. They using you just like they using the rest of us. And all of this stuff with technology, all it has done is made us worse. We don't know how to talk to each other no more. We don't know how to communicate whatsoever. We're all on edge. We're all depressed. We're popping medication pills like Halloween candy. You're getting all of your advice and your information from a spot or designated area that is flawed and will always be flawed. Google, and I had to tell somebody this the other day, you can't even trust Google 100%. It's not accurate like that. They play it in our face day in and day out. And we go on with our life watching our favorite Netflix shows and love and hip hop and whatever it is that fancies your attention. And like you said, your child is is just one of many who they don't get stimulated by certain stuff. That's scary. I don't want to ever get to a point to where I'm watching a marble or I'm watching a woman just stand in front of a camera all day and twerk and shake her ass. There's no that's not entertaining to me. That's not educational. That does not do anything for the development of the country or the community whatsoever. Tell me and show me a video where twerking or breastfeeding on live stream or for shorts and clicks and likes brings anybody any type of sustainability in their culture, how it elevates women or makes the dating pool healthier. All this stuff rots the brain. I believe it. I believe it, Lad TV. I do. I would not be surprised. I just don't trust. I don't trust humans. I don't, man. Because we rely on everybody but the one who created us in the first place. things are starting to come to the surface. The truth is starting to come out. You're starting to have folks who are not tied or connected to other entities that have control over their fate, who are going to tell you the absolute truth, and they're not going to be worried about monetizations and being controlled and censored. Like Sydney right here, she speaks on things within science and agriculture, and you're not going to really get these type of conversations everywhere on the internet. You're not, especially when most of our content is being consumed by horny people. You're either horny or you're starstruck, or you're desperate for love and affection and attention, but you're screaming and going about getting that attention in the worst ways possible. When you got a 23-year-old young lady, 19-year-old young lady committing suicide because of partially it having something to do with social media, you know the internet is a huge problem. I use certain apps for specific reasons, but never will I go to the extremes. And I'm guilty of being a consumer of television. I watch it too much. I need to read more. But yeah, I'm not really big on AI like that. I don't like the Martin Luther King videos. I don't like the Tupac stuff. I swear it feels like they're trying to conjure the souls and the spirits of these people and put them in front of our eyes so that we can consume something else. Like, I'm going a little left here, but I love doing that. And this is just my theory. But when you are playing around with deceased souls and you're putting them on camera, it comes off a little sorcery. It comes off like witchcraft a little bit. It feels as if you are trying to summon demons, give them a life in the form of artificial intelligence, and put them in front of the consumer, and then the consumer watches this shit, and now you're being tagged by the assignment of a principality of darkness. That's how I really feel. You could disagree. And I just spoke about the digital ID stuff as well. I'm glad you brought that up, because there was a video that I had watched where somewhere in China, they have kids already tagged. They're tagged. When they go to school, they don't flash their IDs. No. They scan their face, their hands. That's how they get recognized. That's how they get identified. It's real.
That's what I was saying about the grocery stores earlier. I thought there was some in America, but I know they have that in Japan and in China, where you basically just like walk in with your groceries and walk out, and then they, like, using your face, using whatever, it tracks you and just, okay, we charge your account as soon as you walk out the door.
People think it's a game. It seems innocent, and it seems fun and harmless and convenient, until you see the physiological changes within the person who is being affected by it. At Sarcastic Bill, so initially what I was saying earlier, people are lonely, people are hurting, people don't want therapy. People want therapy, but they can't afford therapy. You can't go, and I think Sydney alluded to this earlier too about will. You got to go to somebody. I don't have a uncle or aunt or somebody that I can pay $500 an hour to talk about my emotional trauma. I don't want to be judged for my problems or my issues or my bad habits. I don't want the world to judge me for this and judge me for that. So, Play Store, Google, type in such and such, search, download, ask them whatever you want. The robot will give you all the answers you need, right? That's your therapy session. It's free, and you don't get a lot of back talk. You don't really having people like Sydney or Led TV or Bill holding you accountable for your indiscretions. Or you cannot get artificial intelligence to have the type of communications with you necessary for healing and growth. Impossible. So Lair TV, I'm glad you said that too. And I brought this up before as well. Humans are humans are in control of all of it. Does the AI generated content that we laugh at and we find funny and hilarious? AI is being ran by humans, and guess what? If you're wondering who created the Tupac AI, you can say a white person did it, you can say a black person did it, you can say an Asian person. You don't know who created the video. It's marketable. It's making money. You don't know who's behind it. But when you have a human race that is fickle in spirit, you can't trust that they're going to do anything out of the pureness of their heart. Everybody is greedy, man. Everybody is greedy. Not everybody, but most humans are greedy and selfish. They want to maintain control. They don't want to be down here with the rest of the earthlings struggling. They don't want their EBT card. They don't want to be in that situation. So they're going to step on you however they can. And they target a specific audience. AI is designed to target a specific audience. I highly doubt Bill Gates needs this stuff. I highly doubt Donald Trump uses it. If I had $1 billion, I wouldn't go to AI for advice on nothing. If I was a billionaire, I would not go to AI for a companion. I could just buy it. No, the only people who really use artificial intelligence as much as they do are folks who have completely been disconnected from the truth and reality, or you just don't see it for what it is. But most humans who have control over this shit, man, they evil as hell, man. They looking at it like, all right, I got a bunch of people who are spiritually sick, emotionally a wreck. I got a bunch of human beings who are horny, a bunch of human beings that they can't read, write, they can't spell. I got a bunch of people who are lazy and they want the easy fix. They want instant gratification. This is my consumer. Yes, I gotcha. I mean, if I didn't care about human life, I would capitalize off of it too. But see, I know what it does to people. I just can't. Layer TV and yeah, Sarcastic Bill, facts, all facts. All facts. I don't want to watch nobody on YouTube who uses artificial intelligence to run their channel. And as far as what you said, Layer TV, yeah, for thumbnails and stuff like that, thank you. That's pretty much my thing. But I yield the mic. Do you want to add anything? Like I don't want
to. I have a poem that I thought would fit. Also, something LED TV said with Google. Another thing that is becoming a problem is they censor information. Like when you search stuff on Google, they're not giving you all of the results that you could be getting because they're a paid company. They have connections to politicians, to the billionaires, to all of these corporations and whatnot. And so they don't feature all of the information that is actually available. And if you compare results on Google to results on, say, one that I use is Ecosia, which is a browser that is environmentally friendly. They use the money that they make to help tree planting and other type of like environmental organizations. If you compare the results to that search engine versus Google, there are topics they won't put on their page. I've already heard stuff about them not sharing certain health information about our president. I've heard them not sharing certain information about AI, about these companies and what they're doing. They've hidden details that their sponsors, that the people that they work with are that would hurt them. And so we can't even take the most commonly used search engine at face value because they probably aren't even giving us correct information. Like we've been trained to think that Google is the answer to everything, that Google has all the answers, but it's just like AI where it's just an access point to that information, but they control the algorithm, so they get to control what you see. And so just because it doesn't exist on Google doesn't mean it doesn't exist at all, or just because it does exist on Google doesn't mean it really does exist. And it's like pacifying us into thinking that we can have it all if we just have access to these technologies, when that's not true. It's just another method for them to deceive us, for them to pretend that everything's okay and here's the information that you need, even though they're lying about it and they're just there to get our money. I mean, we've already seen the rise in now you have to pay for everything, paywall news articles, paywall using sites for like now you have to pay Google for extra storage on Gmail and on Google Docs and all this stuff. Like they're using this to take advantage of us and take more and more of our money to do simple services, really. And it's really dangerous for us to put all of our reliance on these groups of small groups of rich individuals because they can control the narrative, they can control our job availability, they can control our land, the types of commodities that we have access to. They're now controlling our politics. And honestly, it probably goes way deeper than we know right now. There's probably a lot we're not going to find out about ever, if not for a very, very long time. Like we've already known, like in the past, CIA-based stuff that had been hidden from the public, things that had been happening that we never knew about until later. I mean, even the Holocaust, people didn't find out about until like at least a couple of years after it happened, because they went in and saw what was left of the people. And this is now a technology-based method of obscuring what's actually happening. And the sad part is, because it's all digital, they can easily wipe it off the map. Like, it's not like there's physical evidence. They could easily just delete it and it never exists ever again. And so you will never know. And so that's what's dangerous, again, and putting blind faith in somebody's creation, expecting that, oh, well, they solve everything for us. No, they don't. They're manipulating us to think they solve everything for us, because that creates reliance. And that's exactly what they want, because reliance equals profit. And all they care about is profit. They don't care about our well-being. They don't care about us. Literally, they profit off of us from being sick. Like, they want us mentally sick. They want us physically sick, because then we buy more products. We buy more things that make us think we're going to get better. I mean, we've seen so many products put out there like, oh, this is going to solve all of these problems. This is going to make it so you never have to do XYZ ever again. And it's just taking away from our natural abilities. Like, it was not that long ago that we grew our own food, cooked our own food, sold our own food to the community, helped our community out of disasters. Like, we did everything for ourselves. They have just kind of slowly been stealing our ability to support ourselves. I was just watching a video like right before this podcast about how even if you own the land, even if it's your property, you've paid it off, you are not allowed to do with it as you want. You still have to have a physical property, a physical house or whatever to their codes on your land. You can't just park an RV on your own land and expect to get away with it, because they'll tax. They need to tax you. They're not going to let you get away with living on your own land for free, which is crazy. And this is exactly what's happening. They're not allowing us to exist for free. They're basically saying, no. You have to pay us to exist, because we can. And it's dangerous that we're literally handing our entire lives to these people that have all of our money, all of our information, sell our information to other companies so they can continue to take advantage of us. And it's not even stuff in our own country, like it's sometimes in other countries. And they don't care, but we continue to think that they have our best interest at heart, that they're creating this for us. They're making life easier for us. We won't have to work in the future. As I said earlier, yeah, we're not going to work in the future, but we're not going to have anything to live for. We're going to be sitting around homeless, which now they're trying to make illegal and punishable, and kind of have already made it illegal. And we're just kind of like, oh, but I have my internet. I have YouTube. I have AI to keep me company. Like, really? They're soon probably going to start charging for AI usage. I bet you. Like, within the next 5 years, it's going to be like, oh, you have to pay a fee to have access to AI. You're going to have to pay a fee to use Google. You're going to have to, like, they're really, really trying so hard to make us wholly dependent on them. And that's actually what my poem's about. Do you want me to read it now, or do you want to say something?
I'm gonna let you close out, but I do want to say real quick, shout outs to Sarcastic Bill, LED TV, to the people that are watching, the feedback, the interaction, fire, love it. It's nice to know that we ain't the only ones that see what's going on out here. It's nice to have these discussions, because frankly, some of us still care, and we want change, and we want to bring awareness. And if we too afraid to speak on this stuff, man, then what does that say about us as a community and as a whole? You know, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I'm gonna let you close us out. And There will be a show later on, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if y'all are around, make sure to tap in. I want to say again, shout outs to the people in the comment section. Brilliant minds, man. Let me go ahead and give you the solo.
All right. So this is called Fiat Country, and I'm sure you guys already know, but just for any other viewers, fiat currency is basically currency that doesn't really have any value. So that's the meaning behind the title. Valueless dollars make valueless products for valueless people. The people that abdicate, the people of crime, the people that define leadership as the loudspeaker, and the weak as the peacekeeper. Valueless dollars coagulate in the wounds unto this nation. Infecting the wounds are by the guilty and the patient, fed by the insidious inventors and the companies that perpetuate a disrespectfully dangerous domain. Valueless people don't get paid, while the wealthiest get made. Valueless people are homeless and unable. Valueless people only bring love to the table. Valueless people just love who they love and have no choice but to pray to someone above, pleading to stay. Valueless people are the ones who think, but valueless people will only sink, while the wealthiest luxuriate in bathwater stained rose-colored with blood, but not theirs. The wealthiest will float, the wealthiest will gloat, in a sea of the rich, more than a queen, more than a dream, constantly building a consequential regime. Brains and hands replaced by machines, beeping as we sleep in boredom, tired of the same old serfdom. Stop the steal, the wealthiest shout, as they secretly sow their doubts, and we go without, waiting for someone to value the purposeful hearts that we don't get to use. Value is intrinsic, yet somehow not worth shit. Being rich is owning crops and owning stocks, owning shops and city blocks. Wealth is building endlessly until you own them all. One by one, they take us down, buy our stores and country moors, 1,000 acres of our land, just so they can have an expanse to look at. The wealthy told us, rich is owning side houses like side hustles, collecting mansions, basic and plain, cows and quails to be housewife holy grail, air fryers is the homemaker prize, handbags for hire with leather for tires, leeching from freedom for goosey and gooey crouton, 42 of them online from platforms they could buy for themselves with no help. They don't care. Ignore the lies, telling us to buy just because we should, because they need it as much as we do, so they can fund their own lives. They would bless us if they could, like magicians. They swap crap for treasure, enticing us so we may give up our leisure for junk. For they are better, but only at deception. Bait and switch people, there to deceive, receive eyes, to sell lies, to buy time, to sell us more to buy, while they pry more of our worth with the soft warmth of obliviousness and pride. They seek our handouts, our hard-earned payouts, to buy their fake ruby pouts, selling their name with their fame. Every release shows the beggars, the blind and the debtors, happily handing in all their hard-won pleasures to taste the poison milk from the tit of the clever.
And that's what's up. That's what's up. Always love to have the spoken word applied to these shows in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to the people, man. Y'all have a good one. See y'all later on, Lord willing. I'm going back in the laboratory. More work is to be done. Hope to see you later. If not, enjoy the rest of your day. And do me a solid before you go.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. It was a very enjoyable conversation.
Peace.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, red skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I am, my ancestors